Reason to have a understand. Interestingly, Carla and I and Amon combined in this next experiment or innovation that Aslı and Michelle will tell us about.
Hello, thanks for being with us. And we will be reporting a digitalized approach to learning about teacher research. And we want to talk about Electronic Village Online, the moderation team, how it was designed, the course evaluation, and the impacts upon participants. Are you familiar with Electronic Village Online? All right, then I can be very brief about this. Electronic Village Online is organized by TESOL Co-op, and it's virtual, hands-on trainings for teachers. And last year, with a colleague of mine, Kenan Dikilitaş, we put together a course, an online course into teacher research. And we wanted to pilot it, and that was such an experience. And this year, we invited Richard to expand this initiative even more. And how did the collaboration happen? Well, many people collaborated in this effort. So you see our moderators, Amo, Paula, Richard, Kenan, me, Joe, Bobita, Mark, Sadaka, and Michelle moderated the course. And this is the first time, basically, we're in the same room physically. So it is such an experience. We did it, we met face to face at the end. And actually, this impact initiative kind of brought us together. Michelle?
Yeah. This is a teacher research with difficult circumstances impact initiative, which is being coordinated by Richard and Anna-Maria and colleagues from the University of Warwick. This is here just to put this EVO, this Electronic Village Online, into a broader kind of context of the pulling together of these different projects that have been going on that you've heard about already in Nepal, India, Cameroon and Chile. And to kind of see them as a coherent momentum or a coming together of similar themes around teacher research and difficult circumstances. So this is an impact initiative, and EVO was very much seen as an opportunity to share some of the learning that had been happening in these different projects worldwide, pulling it together and then providing that as an opportunity for many more teachers who we could contact online to give them access to something that they may not otherwise have access to, and that was a really important point, I think.
Exactly.
So following on from that, one of the key aims was to have this international reach to share the good news, if you like. It was definitely aimed to be hands-on, to be practical, to actually provide a community where teachers working in difficult circumstances all over could feel a sense of belonging, a sense of, oh, they have a similar situation to me, I can relate to these people, even though we can be in different parts of the world, there are similarities, and people responded really well to that. Again, as Richard said earlier, this is very much about teachers investigating for themselves context-specific concerns and challenges or puzzles that they face. It's the opposite of being told what you need to do in your classroom. It's about people investigating for themselves appropriate methodology and solutions.
And designing the EVO there were some bedrock attributes and principles that guided us. For instance, each week we designed a series of tasks, and they were accompanied with open source links where the participants would be directed. So the overall aim was to engage the participants through different stages of teacher research. There was introduction of practical tools for research, how to analyze, how to share research findings, and we also had tasks which were geared towards reflection, future, so far so good, what now from now on. So we made use of a Weebly website in order to distribute the course content. Here you see the web address, classroom-based research.weebly.com. So maybe later on you may want to take a look at the weeks, because each week had a series of very interesting tasks, like let's share success stories. Can we turn success stories into research questions? Please share your classroom. So through this, we were able to be exposed to different classroom settings all around the world. It was such an enriching, motivating, inspiring experience. And how did the participants share their responses? We show them to you as well. We use the Google Plus community page. You can imagine and conceptualize this like an academic Facebook. So by using different hashtags, participants uploaded their response. So for instance, here, these were the examples of classroom settings, and these triggered many interesting conversations between the participants. We also made use of Facebook, and Facebook attracted a lot of participants. How many? Yeah, over 800 participants. We had over 400 participants on Google+. And of course, thanks to our sponsors, we made use of Adobe Connect to have our webinars and to foster more collaboration, more dialogue, and more learning. And afterwards, we wanted to see the course impact, and therefore we planned we used a questionnaire, a pre and a post questionnaire, to investigate the effect of an online platform for teacher research training, because it's like magic. I mean, it can bring geographically dispersed teachers all together in a virtual room. So for this, we employed pre and a post questionnaire, and the questionnaire had different subscales. One of the subscale was teacher autonomy. Another subscale was attainment of course objective, and the final one was course evaluation, because we wanted to gather the perceptions of the participants. Would you like to move on?
So we wanted to share some information about the participants with you. 272 completed the first registration questionnaire, and we asked them information about them and their context and how long they've been teaching for, and we thought we could share that with you. So most of them were experienced teachers. They've been teaching definitely for over 5 years, but over half of them reported that they'd never undertaken any sort of classroom-based research before, which was interesting. We ended up with 41 teachers who completed the post questionnaire, so there was a kind of a significant dropout, which was kind of expected. We'll talk about that in a while. And 19 of those had undertaken some research. So you can see we were interested in this idea of difficult circumstances and the context we were working in, and over 30% of people who took part in this did have over 30 students in the classroom, and some had more. And most people were teaching for over 15 or 20 hours a week in terms of teaching hours. So we were really happy. As I said before, one of the major kind of goals was to reach as many people and give them this opportunity, and we were happy that we were able to do that. The 272 people and others who may have been sitting on the sidelines, if you like, having a look in. They may not have been in a position where they were ready to get involved, but they were there and they were kind of perhaps observers. Yeah.
And the data analysis yielded that there were some emerging themes, and I would like to talk about these together with voices from the research. So one of the perceived benefits of such an online training was that there was collaborative learning in the community. So in the Google Plus and in Facebook, and it was well received. Secondly, participants participants reported that they were able to learn about different stages of teacher research, which made us very happy because after all that was the heart of the matter. And thirdly, support and guidance from mentors. It was another positively perceived factor, let me say. And improvements in teaching. Teachers recited that because of participating in this course, they felt and they told that their teaching skills improved. Especially they were more attentive to students' ideas, any insight coming from classroom interaction, and so on. And of course, there were challenges.
Okay, so some of the key challenges for people were navigating the different platforms. So as moderators and people involved in designing the course, we were learning as we were going along as well. So many of us had never used Google Plus Community or Adobe Connect, and it was definitely a steep learning curve for us, I think we said. And I think people had a similar experience. I think Google Plus Community was great. Each task had its own kind of tab, and people were asked to go and input onto that kind of that page. But the sheer volume of traffic in the Google Plus community, there were so many people posting and sharing that people found, how can I keep on track of this person? And they would have liked, I think some people said they would have liked perhaps to have an interest group. So this is my challenge, this is my puzzle, and I would like to speak to other people who are working in this area. Or other people said it would be nice to have been in a group with a mentor, and we were mentored together as a group. So I think thinking ahead, there are some things that could have been improved. The other challenge was lack of time and pace. So just having 5 to 6 weeks to do the amount of work that they were being asked to do. I think it was difficult and challenging for some people. Also, because this is taking place all over the world, some places they were on holiday and they didn't have access to students and things like this. In some places, there were issues around internet connection, of course. So this was particularly key for people in Nepal. I know Sugand is here, and you've already mentioned about connectivity issues in Nepal, but also in other places as well. This was less of a challenge that was reported, but it was still a challenge around research-related issues, such as, in particular, analysing data and support around analysing data. Yeah. So we wanted to take a closer look at what people had done and ask them to report on that, as well as us kind of looking at what different types of tasks and activities have been completed. This is really interesting. So you can see as the time goes on, these are the weekly tasks and activities, and you can see here the general trend, which is to be expected, I think, in these types of online courses or MOOCs. So one of the concern is around people perhaps dropping off or not fully completing things. But what you can see there, the spikes, are the webinars. So watching those live webinars or the recorded webinars, they were still engaging people. Which I think is an important lesson that we took away, and anybody else who's thinking of providing an online kind of course, having a live or recorded webinar is certainly valuable and worth it.
Exactly, and let's talk about the course attainment. What the participants reported that they learned about this experience. Well, value of cooperation was definitely a buzzword, and also it was frequently mentioned that it helped participants consider how to turn successes, problems, issues into maybe a research question or a puzzle to solve, and how to clarify focus and reflect on participants, what they got from participants and the method, and overview of different possible sources of evidence. So happy to see that participants regarded not only questionnaires and interviews, but also other line of evidence they were collecting, and deciding how to gather information to answer their questions. Majority said that it was fully achieved. Ethical dimensions were also considered. Sharing research as well as data analysis. So by looking at this, we inferred that the course achieved the objectives that were planned at the onset. But of course, there are things to do, sure. And in line with how to share their research, I would like to show you some participant outcomes. We were so lucky to organize a webinar in which participants shared their research plan as well as what they found as a result of this their research. For instance, here you see one of the participants talking about research, and we enjoyed this a lot. It was such a nice sharing and motivational practice to do. Also, participants outcome in different shapes. For instance, here you see a poster presentation from another participant. And what about teacher autonomy? To make things simpler, could you please focus on the blue bar? It kind of represents the pre-questionnaire, and the orange bar represents post-questionnaire. So there were questions, there were a number of questions, like 15 questions asking about different facets of teacher autonomy. And usually we observe the improving and a positive trend between the blue bars and the orange bars. And let me show you this one. We concluded that most improvement in positive responses between pre and post response can be observed items related to I ask my students suggestions, I incorporate student suggestions, items which involved learners basically. That was a positive trend between the pre and the post questionnaire. Okay. And perceptions of barriers to classroom-based research. Of course, data analysis yielded some themes, but we were happy to see that between pre and post, there was a decrease of certain frequently mentioned factors, and one of them being lack of formal teacher training in research. Previously, teacher training and experience were frequently mentioned, but in the post questionnaire, they reduced a bit, and we regarded this as a good conclusion. Okay, and lack of resources as well. I mean, although it was mentioned previously, not very frequently, but it kind of disappeared. So, how sustainable is an online effort?
Yeah. So we asked people to tell us about how likely it would be that they would use this or take it forward, and how sustainable would it become a part of their practice. And I think this is always difficult to try and measure or assess, but it's something we're all trying to get our head around, is the things that we do, how well do they become embedded within people's everyday kind of activities. And it's particularly hard to assess when you've got so many hundreds of people in different parts of the world to try and keep track. And but it's a challenge that we wanted to try and meet it really. And so we were pleased to see that most people said, I will go back to this content. It might be that I had to stop right now for this reason or this reason, but I feel I know where this is and I want to go back to it, and I will at a later time. Some people said that next year, when I get a new year group, or next term, when I get a change of class, I am going to use some of this in my own teaching, which was positive. And ideally, we would like to follow that up, really, you know. In an ideal world, I think that would be good to do. The other thing is that some, as I explained about the webinar we had where participants shared their research, and we've invited people to do the same again. Those people said, I really want to, but I just haven't got time right now, but give me a bit more time and then I'll be able to share with you. And so we incorporated that into this the new kind of this festival. It's very much coming together. It's on your flyers on the back of what you've got in front of you. You've got this. So again, an opportunity to pull together these different activities and events. Do you want to make it more? Okay. With this thread of teacher research for difficult circumstances. On the 15th of April, you will be able to see some of these EVO participants, now that they've had more time, to present and share their findings, which we think is really positive.
So overall conclusions are these. I can't talk about them because the bell rang. Very basically, I mean, this online approach has great potential, provided that it is designed meticulously, taking certain design principles and profiles of learners into consideration. And we're happy about the international reach because, you know, educational technology has the power to bring together teachers from different geographical locations. And it was reported that this EVO helped them to build confidence in engaging research. And finally, lack of resources, large classes, lack of formal training appear to be less of a concern. And thank you very much for listening. Thanks a lot.
So there is a little bit of time for questions and comments on the first report, which we see how Amos as well. Welcome to comment on discuss or the EVO. So over to you, maybe 5 minutes.
Sorry about my voice, I lost it last night, which was very careless of me. You used a range of terms, teacher research, action research, exploratory research, collaborative research, collaborative action, exploratory action research. Did you draw a distinction between these different terms, or did you use them all as interchangeably?
Well, the Champion Teacher Project is using exploratory action research as the main approach. It's drawn from both this kind of creating this hybrid between exploratory practice and action research, with the notion of asking teachers to further explore their practice before jumping into leaping into action. So that's the approach that we use, at least for that project. I don't know about anybody wants to say anything else about what it is.
Well, Amal in India, I don't actually know how he is, what he's describing himself. I think you can tell that he favours this exploratory phase, but also that he was also, like we were actually, quite independently highlighting the value of calling it research as opposed to inquiry or practice. In our case, in Chile, we were given the name action research by the Ministry of British Council project, so we had to work with that. Even though I think both of us feel close, in favour of exploratory practice, first that's probably where that hybrid came from.
Well, of course, Dick Allwright, who he quite critical of action research and proposed exploratory practice as an alternative as well. It's interesting that you, I mean, I agree with you.
Yeah, the interesting thing from the evidence, data from the teachers came out that they want the change action bit of it. So what they highlight of the approach is that exactly this, the combination of this understanding and change part of the process. So if this is for teachers, then we're pretty much listening to their voice.
Exactly. Sorry. Exactly. It's coming from the teachers that they wanted research, and I think Amal was saying something similar. That there were advantages to calling it research, and I think that ties in actually with Anne Burns' perspective as well. That she's in favour of democratising the idea of research. So I think we've talked about this, but we are a little bit not in favour of this idea of calling it something as Paul called it euphemism. So do you have a perspective on that? Well, you just said that you agree with us.
Well, I mean, to me, if you think of it as a Venn diagram, you've got teacher research, then you've got classroom research, and then you've got action research. And so you've got teacher, teacher classroom-based research in the middle and these three other circles. So you have teacher research that's not classroom-based and it's not action research. You can have classroom research that doesn't involve the teacher, it's university-based research. But you can have action research that takes place in the classroom, which will also have action research by teachers. It doesn't take place in the classroom, for example, looking at the role of the questions. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. What is the impact or role of teacher involvement in their kids' education in successful learning outcomes and other courses, semester? You know what I mean?
Yeah, in fact, parental involvement in children's learning was one of the topics the teachers chose in the very first year. And I thought, wow, that's something we don't usually talk about. It's coming from teachers, and therefore that's what we wanted to do. I think because in what we've been doing in Strag, we're not that bothered about what we call it to some extent. But what we're concerned about is it's for teachers' own professional development. And I think we are kind of reacting a bit against an academic view that we have to be very careful about what we call trying to make things let's say teacher-friendly.
At the same time, as you said, as this was saying, it does matter whatever you call it, because that is one of the factors that actually makes you do it, and the teachers to come in and do it. So yes, it does matter a lot. It's what name.
So what name do you think it should be?
Well, I wouldn't be talking about any name because I am not in that situation, but then it could be something where whatever the project is about and whatever the approach is, it will be the teachers who should be giving the name.
I agree.
Just to say that I congratulate you on these efforts that you're doing to something that most teachers think is difficult. We normally see research as an obstacle in our career to get a degree. But here you're making it become part of your career lives, not a one-off experience. And at the same time, I think that looking at the big canvas, what you're doing is really maximizing or investing in the human capital of the countries that are developing. And this is developing the whole countries. If you are creating knowledge with the teacher, so really, this is a big effort you're opening up. You're for me, very inspiring. Yes, I work now in Peru, having been working in Chile for 30 years, teacher. I know the reality of teaching in large classrooms and difficult